Oriire funeral. Good tidings to you. I pray that you are feeling awake, aware, and elevated in mind, body, and spirit, wherever you are, and whatever may be happening around you. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. I'm Baba Umar, Oluranse Emese, voice of the MSA, member of the Isoro Traditional Council of Chiefs, Oluwo of the House of Umar, and Babalao of Ile-Ife, Orisa. Let me thank you for joining us for another lesson in our video blog series. I invite you to click the links below, become a subscriber to this channel, click the notification button to stay up to date, and share this resource with your family, friends, associates, and anyone who you feel may benefit from this wisdom. Homage to the one who sends and to those who are sent. Homage to Orisa and Egun. Our topic for this video review is from my December 2016 blog post entitled Making a Difference, Compassion. Ifo Kanbale Omo Orisa. Peace of mind from Oludumare, children of Orisa. I am a very private person for the most part, so I don't really like to talk too much about myself. You might not think so because here I am, doing videos for the whole world to see. But these videos are not to put me on stage, but rather to provide you with information for your own introspection and transformation. For me, it's about sharing the wisdom of Ifa to benefit all of you who spend your precious time to listen to these videos, something that I really appreciate. And thank you to all of you who have signed up, who've subscribed to the channel. That's rewarding to know that you find this worthy of your precious time. That being said, I'm going to take a moment to share a couple of personal experiences that speak to our topic for the day. Compassion, Iwa Pele, and the good condition. In Odu Irosu Iwori, the 78th Odu, it speaks of there being no joy, peace, or genuine gain from wrongdoing. Here's the first experience I want to share. So in my journey of becoming, I'm maybe 13 years old or so, 13, 14 years old. A friend told me that another friend of mine was doing something, harassing my girlfriend, whatever the heck that means at 13 years old, harassing my girlfriend, and it upset me. And so I went up the block, and he was up at the corner on his bicycle. I went up the block, confronted him about, what had been said, and I ended up cold cocking him. Bang! Knocked him off his bike to the ground. My first lesson. That was not me. In the moment that I hit him, in that instant, I would have taken all of the pain he felt, all of the embarrassment that he felt, all of it. I would have taken it all on myself to relieve him of what I had done. I felt terrible about it. So, again, this Odu is saying there being no joy, no peace, no genuine gain from wrongdoing. It was wrong for me to do that, no matter what he was doing. Unless he was acting violently towards someone, my girlfriend in this instance, or towards me, there was no reason for me to act in that way towards him. I learned a lesson that day. This Odu also says difficulties and change are a part of growth and wisdom. So later on, years later, I guess I'm in my 20s, early 20s. I'm in the Nation of Islam under the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam, was a quote-unquote black nationalist type movement. And one of the fundamental precepts of the teachings was the white man is the devil and the black man is God. Okay, we had been taught as black people that, you know, we were inferior to white people and, you know, that we were worthless, you know, would never amount to anything. So I understand the teachings from the standpoint that what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing was turning the world upside down. Where the white man put us down as being inferior, he turned the world upside down and said, no, the white man is the devil and the black man is God. Okay. But the effect of that on me became manifest one day when a brother and I were on security duty. We were driving back from Minister Security, and we were sitting at a stoplight. A woman, Caucasian woman, was walking across the street pushing her baby carriage. I was driving. I put my foot firmly down on the brake and put my other foot down on the accelerator and raced the engine as she was crossing in front of the car. Once again, I knew something was wrong. There was no logical, no sensible, no righteous reason for me to have done that to that woman. Again, I felt terrible and would have taken back what I saw in her face the moment that I realized what I had done was not good. This Odu also says, our sacred contract is to bring about the good condition. Finally, when I was in Ile-Ife, Nigeria, 2001, this is happening. My ascended Babalawo at the time, Chief Adeyela Adele Khan, made a passionate plea for members of the worldwide community of Ifa to remember where they come from and to support the source of the Ifa spiritual tradition of Orisa and Ancestor worship. He understood, he said, we accept, Kondumble and the Lukumi and the Santeria and, all the different, branches of Ifa that have spread across the world as a result of the slave trade. But people come to Ile-Ife, they get initiated in Ile-Ife, or they visit for, a ceremony, a ritual, a festival, a gathering, and then they leave, and he was pleading. He was saying, look, the Catholics all around the world give money to their local churches, and that money in turn goes to support the Vatican. He said, why, what's with us, that we come and we drink from the fountain of Ifa, and then we go back and we forget where we came from. And so the shrines and the groves and the temples and the icons of the Ifa tradition at that time were in need of repair and are still in need of restoration and upkeep today. I shed a tear as he made his appeal and pledged myself. I pledged that when I returned home to the United States, I would strive to help bring about the good condition for Ile-Ife. So what I'm saying is that when we're on our journey, things happen to quicken our spirit, to wake us up, to point us in the right direction. And this particular talk and this particular Odu speak to what you and I could be and really should be doing in the world. After all, our Gege bi Eniyan, our Niolodumade Yan, Lati Lotun Ile-Ayese, Enia Yaniwa. We as human beings, we are the God's elect, designated to renew the world. We are the chosen ones. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. This Odu is speaking of why we are here in the world and why we continue to be reborn to bring about the good condition. Let me quote from the Odu and make some comments along the way. It starts out saying, "Let us do things with joy. Those who want to go, let them go. Those who want to stay, let them stay. Surely humans have been chosen to bring good into the world." It continues. "The all-knowing one, priest of Orunmila, cast Ifa for Orunmila. He said the people of the world would come to ask him a certain question. He said that Orunmila should sacrifice. Orunmila heard and sacrificed. He complied. One day all kinds of people, good people, and those who do not allow good in other people's lives, gathered together." Comment. So right here, Ifa is telling us that there are people in the world with different character traits. In other words, some good, some bad. Some who want to bring about good for themselves, some who want to bring about good for themselves and others, and some who just don't give a damn, who in fact want to bring misery and harm into the lives of others. Continuing with the Odu, they then went to Orunmila. They said, "Coming back and forth to the earth tires us, Orunmila. Therefore, please allow us to rest in heaven." Orunmila said, "You cannot avoid going back and forth to earth until you bring about the good condition that Oludumare has ordained for every human being. After then, you may rest in heaven." My comment. Here, Ifa is telling us that we are all engaged in an ongoing process of birth, death, and rebirth, and that there's a condition that we must collectively fulfill before we can end this cycle and enter into a state of rest. And the essential qualities or attributes necessary to achieve the goal, to achieve what is being put upon us, are empathy, compassion, and Iwa Pele. The three examples that I used showed that at those various stages of my development, I lacked empathy, I lacked compassion, I lacked Iwa Pele. What is empathy? Empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feeling of another. What I felt the moment that I hit that friend of mine. What is compassion? Compassion can be defined as empathy for the suffering, the misfortune, the hardships of another person or creature, combined with a passionate desire to make a difference in their condition. What I felt when I heard my ascendant Babalao, Chief Adeyela Adele Khan, make his passionate plea for members of the worldwide community of Ifa to remember where they came from and to support the source of the Ifa spiritual tradition of Orisa and Ancestor worship. Even today, as I mentioned, there's a need to upkeep. There's no facility, there's no place, no sanctuary, there's no building, there's no edifice, there's no institution that doesn't need the resources to be able to maintain and upkeep itself. Continuing. They said, the people that had gathered, "What is the good condition?" Orunmila said, "The good condition is a world a good world, a world in which there is full knowledge of all things, happiness everywhere. Here, Ifa is telling us that we have an obligation to pursue knowledge of self and knowledge of other than self. Ifani ki isen. Ifa is not a religion. Ifani ba wo aiye shishe. Ifa is how the universe works. Ifani iwa ti aiye. Ifa is the nature of the universe. We come to Ifa to access the wisdom of creation, its purpose and functions, and our role in the process of universal consciousness. Orunmila goes on, life without anxiety or fear of enemies, without clashes with snakes or other animals, without fear of death, disease, litigation, losses, wizards, witches, or Eshu, without fear of poverty or misery. Think about that. Think about what is being said here. Imagine that world that's being described. How different it would be from the world that we live in today. Imagine how different our lives would be as people of color living under the scourge of racism around the world. Imagine how different it would be for women and young girls, for people with gender identity differences, and imagine how differently things would be and would have been if we faced the current pandemic with empathy and compassion for each other instead of treating it like a political football. The Odu goes on, because of your wisdom, your compelling desire for good character, and your strength. Think about it. Ifa here tells us clearly and emphatically that what is required is a compelling desire for Iwa Pele. Many people come to Ifa and think that this journey is about knowing what Orisa crowns your head, making Adora prayers, and making ebos. But I want you to understand what Ifa really says. The most important prayer is the one that you live each and every day. And the most important ebo that you will ever make is the sacrifice that you make to live a life of Iwa Pele. Orunmila continues, the things needed to bring about the good condition in the world then are wisdom that is fully adequate to govern the world. That's powerful. Sacrifice, good character, the love of doing good for all people, especially those in need and those who seek assistance. Notice that in these verses, Orunmila says the love of doing good for, quote, all people, especially those in need and those who seek assistance. Not some of the people, not just black people, not just white people, not just males or females, not just the healthy, the wealthy, and the able-bodied, but all people, no exceptions, even those who portend to be your enemies, are included. All people must be given the opportunity to experience the good condition. Can you see how Ifa is calling us, you and me, to be empathetic, compassionate, and of good character? Continuing. And the eagerness and struggle to increase good in the world and not let any good at all be lost. So Ifa is saying that we should constantly be looking for opportunities to do good for anyone and everyone. It may be a big thing or a small thing. That doesn't matter. Even a simple, small act of kindness can have a profound impact on another person's mental, physical, and spiritual health and well-being. Ifa goes on and says, people will continue to go to heaven, and they will come back and forth to earth after their transfiguration until everyone has achieved the good condition. Thus, when the children of Odu are gathered together, those chosen to bring good into the world are called Eniyan. Awa gege bi Eniyan, awa ni Olodumadeyan, lati lotun ile ayese Eniyan Iwa. We as human beings, we are the God's elect, designated to renew the world. We are the chosen ones. Eniyan, the chosen ones. The word Eniyan refers to human beings. Ifa says that all human beings are designated to be chosen ones. However, it also makes clear that not all human beings choose to act in the capacity of the chosen one. The bringers of the good condition is a choice. To be one of the bringers of the good condition is a choice. But Ifa says we cannot just negate those people. Simply hating them is a cop-out and shirking our responsibility. In some way, we have to bring about the good condition for every human being. Odu Irosu Iwori, the 78th Odu. In another section of this Odu, it's talking about the need for the flow of life, positive and negative. I look back on those examples of my process of becoming, and I don't negate them. I don't feel shame or embarrassment or whatever. I accept them as a part of the life process, a part of my journey. That was my journey. I grew from those experiences. Ifa says, a life having the taste of sweetness without any bitterness is boring. Anyone who has not experienced destitution will never appreciate prosperity. There was a time in my life when I was married with children and broke as I could be, having to get food stamps and stuff like that. Having experienced that, I appreciate more so now the affluence that I have in my life, the abundance that I've been blessed to achieve in my life. This Ifa verse says, this Ifa was divine for the farmers, Agbe, who said that if all the seasons were the rainy season, the world would be melodious. They said they would offer sacrifice and appeal to Bara Agbone Regun for help. Orunmila said that they should perform sacrifice because of their madness, and that the world should remain as ordained by Odua, the rainy season and the dry season unaltered. The sacrifice, 4 she-goats, 8,000 cowrie, and so on. They refused to sacrifice. The farmers, they refused to sacrifice. Orunmila caused the rain to fall heavily throughout the year, no stop, without sunshine. People became sick. Several people died that year. Crops and so on did not thrive. They went back to Orunmila to apologize and to perform the sacrifice. Orunmila said, the sacrificial materials have doubled now. You know, you didn't accept what I said in the beginning. Now you want to come back, apologize, and make the sacrifice. No, the sacrifice is double. Now it's 8 she-goats and 16,000 cowrie. This Ifa tells us that those who refuse to answer the call, to choose to be Eniyan, and nurture the good condition for every human being, will soon come to see the error of their ways. Nobody gets away. They will live the consequence of their choices. Remember, our destiny is what we choose in Orun before coming into the world. Our fate is the consequences of the choices that we make when we're here. So they will live the consequence of their foolish and rebellious choices. And we can see that happening today as Ile-Ife, Mother Earth, returns their foolishness back on them. Remember, empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Compassion is an elevated level of empathy that brings about a desire to and demonstration or determination to make a difference in the conditions and the circumstances of another person, to assist them in mitigating their difficulties, their pain, their suffering, to help them to alter their reality. Iwa Pele means good and gentle character. It means continuous transformation into better and better versions of who we are, what we are, and how we were meant to be in the world. I hope that you can derive some real actionable benefit from this video, and that if you do, you'll make some comments down below. If you have questions, feel free to ask questions, and invite others to join in with these lessons and to benefit from the wisdom of Odu Ifa and the wisdom of the Ifa tradition. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Ori mi ape sin, my Ori, the most precious. Ise Olorun Tobi, God's work is great and mighty. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Ki Olodumare, Orisa, Ati Egun Fifune ni, Itona Imoye, Ati Opo Ire. May Olodumare, Orisa, and ancestors bestow on you guidance, wisdom, and abundant blessings. Ifo Kanbele, peace of mind from Olodumare. Ajo Lo, Ajo Bo. We go out together, we return together. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.